I do want to check in with meteorologist Lee Southwick here. And Lee, we did get a question online from Janet. We've been monitoring your comments. She was asking for Brunswick and Waycross, those areas. Is the worst of it over? Because, of course, we know that they had significant damage from Helene. Is the worst of it over up for Brunswick and Waycross?
So for Waycross, yes, absolutely. It is done. The worst of it is over. For Brunswick, wait just a little bit longer. You're right there along the coast. You're still likely going to get some rain moving on shore, and it's windy there as well. So Waycross, you are good to go. Brunswick, hold on with us a little bit longer. We just had some live reports from Claire from the Neptune Beach area, and she talked about the dam that's been built right here as well. I just wanted to show you it, and right, you see that orange line? You can see the rough seas out behind it, but luckily, if there was any sort of surge, that Tiger Dam is holding it back. And then also where Jasmine was, St. Augustine, this is what is supposed to be showing you the Bridge of Lions, but the camera's rocking around. It's very windy and rainy there in St. Augustine. So here's a big picture of Hurricane Milton. Still a hurricane. As of the 4 a.m. advisory, the National Hurricane Center says it has winds of 85 miles an hour. The center of that hurricane really right over Cape Canaveral. So it is trying to move offshore. The heaviest rain for the first coast over places like Flagler and St. Johns and Putnam counties, especially down towards Daytona Beach area. Some heavy rain, some really strong winds for them, Ormond Beach, and then up towards Palm Coast, St. Augustine, and over towards the Palatka area. So we do have flash flood warnings in effect until 8 a.m. for portions of St. Johns, including the World Golf Village area, towards St. Augustine, down towards Crescent Beach, and then another one in effect that does include portions of Putnam and Flagler counties as well, even down towards Marion, and it does include portions of St. Johns as well. So this one, Palm Coast, Palatka, until 8 a.m. that flash flood warning in effect. A look at your wind speeds right now. We have sustained winds of 41 miles an hour in Mayport and St. Augustine, Palatka 26, Keystone Heights 20, NAS Jax at 23 miles an hour with gusts of 37 miles an hour. We have a gust of 61 miles an hour coming in at Mayport, a gust of 51 miles an hour for St. Augustine. We had that question about Waycross and Brunswick. Now, Waycross, you had a gust of 18 miles an hour, but Brunswick, you have a gust of 30, so still pretty windy out there. And we still have some of those showers wrapping on shore. But as Milton continues to move off to the east, we will see our impacts lessen. Our weather will get better and better as it continues to move out of here, and it's so close to just crossing out into the Atlantic again as of the 4 a.m. advisory right over the Cape Canaveral area. So the heaviest rain will still last for portions near the Cape through these early morning hours, but the heaviest rain will start to move out of the first coast. We will have some showers move on shore through the morning hours, though. We won't be completely done with the rain until later on today. However, when the rain moves out, we're still stuck with the wind. Watch the beaches here. We could have these gusts still around 50 miles an hour over the next several hours. And then once we head later into the morning, still gusts around 30 to 40 miles an hour at the beaches and over 20 miles an hour for inland areas. As we head towards the 2-3 o'clock hour, gusts near 20 inland, gusts near 30 at the beach, and then by dinner time, we'll start to see those winds try to relax some. It will still remain breezy. Also later on this afternoon, we will have to watch out for storm surge. So we have the possibility of storm surge of 3 to 5 feet along our coastal areas, and for the St. Johns River, a surge of 2 to 4 feet. So high tides today. Places like, well, downtown, the Main Street Bridge, you've already had your first high tide. We'll watch out for that second one around 3:21 p.m. That also means places like San Marco, your next high tide closer to that 3:30 range. For the Jacksonville Beach area, your next high tide is at 2:18 p.m. For an Indiana Beach, your next high tide at 2:46 p.m. And that's why they issued that voluntary evacuation, because of this high tide with that surge potential. The next high tide in St. Augustine, 2:26 p.m. The next high tide in St. Simons, 2:08 p.m. Palatka, your high tide's at 8:27 a.m. And then you have another one tonight at 9:05 p.m.